episode of Pardon the Interjection. I am your host, Supreme L. I would love to give high honors, extremely high honors to your prophet, my prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and all the active Moors. Here on Pardon the Interjection, we dig up information to divulge to the people in the upliftment of fallen humanity. And yes, we have fallen hard, but we also have gotten up. And there's more that's getting up every day. Awakening to the realization of nationality is the order of the day. There's no such things as black, Negro, or colored people. We have nationalities. And that's what we do. I want to go and do a continuation to Clocks of Destiny. I think it's going to be a 3-part series, but if we get it done in 2, then that'll be done in 2. But this is part 2. We're going to pick up where we left off, and that is the alphabet of the Moorish nation, our forefathers. That's coming out of the Clocks of Destiny, Volume 1 by Brother C.M. Bay. And we go into we read. The Greek, Hebrew, and Latin of the Roman cross order definitely cannot go beyond the Arabic alphabet. Our Moorish forefathers' code of alphabet and mathematics have proven that the white people, end quote, have no culture of their own. The Moorish color code and electronics, which describes the unit of resistance, current, and voltage. The magnetic law, atomic energy, is as follows. 0 symbolizes black, 1 symbolizes brown, 2 symbolizes red, 3 symbolizes orange, 4 symbolizes yellow, 5 symbolizes green, 6 symbolizes blue, 7 symbolizes violet, 8 symbolizes gray, 9 symbolizes light or white. Our Moorish forefathers had harnessed atomic energy and employed it for both good and ill many centuries before the redskin, in parentheses, blondes of Patagonia had become educated by the cultured Moors. Atomic energy is new to the white people, end quote, but not to the Moors. The Christian race and color scheme was founded upon the Moorish color code of electronics. It is definitely impossible for a nation that is dominated by various secret orderism to solve its economic and social problems in the atomic age. You might ask yourself this question. How can one help himself and others without exposing his secrets? The code of mathematics, scaling from 0 to 9 and 3, 6, 9, and 12, constitutes the ever-present code of law which never grows old or ancient. Neither earth, water, air, and heat, light, or electricity will ever grow out old or ancient. Neither woman, sons, and the letters of the alphabet will never, ever grow old or ancient. The whole of which comprise the one great body of the ever-present living truth, which therefore is not a mystery and neither a secret. Do you agree? All secret orderisms involving religion, symbolism, and mystic passwordism, or our own ignorance of the realities which dwell within us and about us. That which individuals have in their minds unexpressed is a secret. Having expressed to another that in mind, then the great secret has been exposed to the other world or outer world. The inner world is our universal subconscious mind, which dictates to our reasoning mind. Thus, our subconscious mind is the inner world, referred to as the all-seeing eye. Our reasoning mind is the outer world, referred to as the light of the world, all of which derive from woman, the creator of all sons, in the course of 9 months, from conception to birth. Thus, woman, in parentheses, is the grand master architecturer and carpenter of the human body and mind, which makes all ones, Muslims in parentheses, Muslims, pardon me, regardless to the shade of skin and color of the eyes. All male babies are sons of 9 months from conception to birth. In Christian mythology, the number 9 have many names, most common of which are Nin, N-I-N, pardon me, Nim, N-I-M, Nimrud, M-I-M-R-U-D, Nimrod, M-I-M-R-O-D, and Nun, N-U-N. Catholicism. Every child is born on the square, an angle of 90 degrees, 9 months from conception to birth, Islam. The term Muslim, in parentheses, implies the works of nature involving the human body, from conception to birth, on the right angle, motion or square of 90 degrees. The great circle of the earth comprises 360 degrees squared by the number 9. 9 goes into 360 degrees 40 times. This is the number 40, which involves the Christian order or the clannish society of the lily white world, which Senator Bill Bull of Mississippi had referred to over the Meet the Press program in 1946. The KKK obligation. Clan or clan with a C or K in parentheses implies the people who gave or who have agreed by oath or secret obligation to protect their society so as to prevent legal marriage or socialization with people of heavy olive hue, of skin referred to as dark brown. Should any of the women and grown sons violate the clannish code, they are subject to become a social outcast of the clan society, especially if the violation involves marriages or marriage to any of the women and sons of dark brown skin. This is a major violation of the clannish society of the lily white world. Although the grown sons of the clan society are at liberty to slip around with Asiatic women of the United States due to the fact that there is usually reproduction of the clannish type, namely ruddy pale skin. The story is somewhat different with the white woman and the Asiatic sons, and their reproduction of 9-month sons and daughters. This part of the story has caused the people of white societies of the United States to live under such strenuous influence of fear that apparently they have lost all powers of common sense. The secrets of the number 9 involving women or woman and child and the 12 signs of the Zodiac is referred to as the rejected stone. Thus, the stone that the sociologists of the Christian world rejected in the days of old becomes the head of the corner in the atomic age, which is as follows. The first month of the year, April, is the first month of the new year, in harmony with the rising sun in the northern hemisphere. on the Tropic of Cancer, which occurs every year on March 21st and ushers in the spring season. Mathematics and the Zodiac. The Earth's axis to its orbit involves about the Sun at the rate of 1 degree per day and 30 degrees a month. It completes its annual revolution of 360 degrees every year on March 20th in the 12th sign of Pisces. Thus, the rays of the Sun pass through 12 different regions of the Earth called signs in the course of a year, calculated from the sign Aries to the sign Pisces. Woman, know thyself. The following is the secrets of the number 9. Knowledge of the 12 signs of the zodiac involving woman, child, and the secrets of the number 9 is important as the letter of the alphabet which qualify them to read and write. Conception. Conception always occurs while the rays of the sun is in a certain sign of the zodiac, and the child is born 9 months later, while rays of the sun is in another sign of the zodiac. For example, if the conception occurs while the rays of the sun is in the sign of Aries between March 21st and April 18th, the child is born when the rays of the sun enter the sign Sagittarius between November 22nd and December 20th. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign of Taurus between April 20th and May 20th, the child is born when the sun enters the sun Capricorn between December 21st and January 18th. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Gemini between May 21st and June 21st, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Aquarius, between January 19th and February 19th. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign of Cancer between June 22nd and July 22nd, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Pisces between February 20th and March 20th. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign of Leo between July 23rd and August 23rd, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Aries between March 21st and April 19th. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Virgo between August 24th and September 23rd, the child is born when the sun enters the sign. The child is born when the sun enters the sign Taurus between April 20th and May 20th. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Libra between September 24th and October 22nd, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Gemini between May 21st and June 21st. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Scorpio between October 23rd and November 21st, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Cancer between June 22nd and July 22nd. If the conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Sagittarius between November 22nd and December 20th, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Leo between July 23rd and August 23rd. If the conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Capricorn between December 21st and January 18th, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Virgo between August 24th and September 23rd. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Aquarius between January 19th and February 19th, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Libra between September 24th and October 22nd. If conception occurs while the sun is in the sign Pisces between February 20th and March 20th, the child is born when the sun enters the sign Scorpio between October 23rd and November 21st, Islam. This concludes in brief the applied key of the 12 signs of the zodiac involving woman, child, and the number 9, 9 months from conception to birth. This process of simple scientific universal facts has proven that every child is born while the sun is passing through one of the 12 signs of the zodiac. and that the sign under which children are born governs their lives from the cradle to the grave. That which cannot be proven by mathematics, reasoning, is definitely dangerous to human progress. During 9 months from conception to birth, the child in its creator's womb, namely mother, has passed through the 9 cosmic regions or signs of the earth, in harmony with the sun, from which it molds its physical form, mind, memory, and characteristics qualified for cultivation as it slowly grows up during life. If women on national scales possess the applied knowledge of the science of the number 9, they would be supremely qualified to educate their children to the practical side of life during its 9 months maturity from conception to birth. Then there would be no need for the institutions of religious mystery worship, idol, or image god. Jailhouses, prisons, and insane institutions would not be needed, for there would be no racial hatred or crime. The secrets of the number 9 and 12 signs of Zodiac involving woman and child from conception to birth is referred to in the book of John, Revelations, as the opening of the 7 seals, from which has marked the very end of Christian theology and the rise of woman with civilization, namely the Moorish or Asiatic women of the United States who have been labeled Negro, colored people in parentheses, by the sociologists of the Roman Cross Order. I am sorry to assert that the present grown-ups, especially 95% of both European and Asiatic Americans, will not turn loose the white image, Christ doctrine, and the church with its various denominations until the United States of America has undergone its bloodbath, which is now in the making. The most critical blood. Why they have critical here? That's not critical. That's supposed to be crucial. The most crucial bloodbath that the world has ever known. Pardon the interjection, and we continue. The doctrine of the white image was born in the United States of America, or colonial North America, through bloodshed, and will vanish after bloodshed, which cannot be described in words. This destruction is necessary in order that the oncoming generation might escape mental bondage and dead idol, or image worship, which is definitely contrary to truth, wisdom, and economic and social progress. The following is the interpretation of the sun and the 12 signs of the zodiac during the Earth's annual revolution of 360 degrees. You are advised to always read the interpretation of the sign in each sign of the zodiac during the 9 months maturity of your child and concentrate upon realities, equality, unity, and economic and social progress, peace and justice. Then your child will be born while educated, endowed with practical, down-to-earth morals and progressive wisdom, and will fear no evil. The interpretation of the sun in the 12 signs will also help you well understand yourself and friends, according to the sign under which you and they were born. This scientific progress of the universal law of nature definitely grants first-hand knowledge of cause and effect. The interpretation of the sun in the 12 signs of the zodiac involving human characteristics and monthly activity. 1. 30 degrees. The sun in Aries gives good health, strength, willpower, independent of thought. Person born while in the sign is in Aries. Persons born while in the sun sign of Aries are endowed with leadership. They are also musically and intellectually inclined. Intellectually inclined. The sun enters Aries every year on March 21st and remains until April 19th. The sun is exalted in Aries. Head. 2. 60 degrees. The sun in Taurus gives kind-heartedness, firmness, determination, and ambition to rise above common levels. Persons born while the sun is in Taurus are very talented and therefore will follow more than one occupation. They usually gain in money or property through relatives. The sun enters Taurus every year on April 20th and remains until May 20th. The neck, in parentheses. 3. 90 degrees. The sun in Gemini. Given a strong, flexible, and ability to adapt their talents to many lines. They are also fond of travel and dealing with the public. Females born under this sign show 2 marriages and a birth of twins. Okay, whatever that is. ANTEH. Space EH. The sun enters Gemini every year on the 21st of May and remains until June 21st. Lungs. 4. 120 degrees. The sun in Cancer gives love for home and family, old age security, and desire for music and pleasure. Persons born under this sign make qualified lawyers, nurses, and political leaders. They usually create their own difficulties and disappointments unless impatience and restlessness are overcome. The sun enters Cancer every year on June 22nd and remains until July 22nd. The breast. Pardon me, some of these words are a little faded, so I'm going to just make it up as I go and make it out as much as I can. Pardon the interjection, and we continue. 150 degrees. The sun in Leo gives fondness for authority, generous, sympathetic, and ambitious. Persons born under this sign are endowed with many capabilities. They make fine actors, teachers, or instructors. The sun enters this sign every year on July 23rd and remains until August 23rd. Heart. 180 degrees. The sun in Virgo gives many talents and love of detail. Persons born under this sign are musically and artistically inclined and are also fond of money and material gain. Unless careful, they are usually unfortunate in love and marriage owing to their critical tendencies. They must have someone to encourage them constantly. The sun enters Virgo every year on August 24th and remains until September 22nd. The intestines. Tropic of Capricorn. 210 degrees. The sun in Libra gives a social ability, romantic and affectionate nature, and a great lover of beauty, art, music. Persons born under this sign are subject to trouble in courtship and disappointment in marriage. They have a powerful imagination and a strong attachment for parents and relatives. They are also fond of many short journeys. The sun enters this sign every year on September 23rd and remains until October 23rd. Kidneys. The kidneys, in parentheses. Number 8. 240 degrees. The sun in Scorpio gives pride, firm mind, and strong character. Persons born under this sign will assume many obligations and usually gain money or property through marriage late in life. They are slightly jealous and also are very sarcastic at times. They are fond of mysterious investigation. The sun enters this sign every year on October 24th and remains until November 23rd. Sex, in parentheses. 9. 270 degrees. The sun in Sagittarius gives a generous, alert mind of merry disposition. Persons born under this sign have many problems to solve, rather impatient at times. They are fond of travel over land and sea. The sun enters this sign every year on November 23rd and remains until December 22nd, hips. Number 10, 300 degrees. The sun in Capricorn gives a serious and determined nature, practical and qualified to direct others. They are fond of the practical side of life, which makes them very prominent. They are also fond of music, dancing, and entertaining. The sun enters this sign every year on December 23rd and remains until January 19th. The knees. 11. 330 degrees. The sun in Aquarius gives broad-mindedness, deep sympathies, courteous, and wisdom in practical affairs of life. They are liberal and generous. They are always helping relatives or friends. They are fond of universal science such as astrology and like extensive travel. The sun enters this sign every year on January 20th and remains until February 19th. The ankles. 12. 360 degrees. The sun in Pisces gives a restless, changeable disposition and a tendency to go to extreme in feelings or actions. Persons born under this sign are very psychic to hidden conditions. They are also fond of success and have many responsibilities, but they also have much hostility through their life. The sun enters this sign every year on February 20th and remains until March 20th. The feet. This concludes the 12 gates of life. As the sun is the giver of life, we are born into the world endowed with wisdom ready for cultivation as we slowly advance. Therefore, the interpretation of the sun and the 12 signs apply to our daily activity as well as at birth. The fact remains that the human body constitutes the 12 signs of the Zodiac, space and time. Mankind is mind, matter, motion, and form that measurably perfects form past memory of its many manifestations in life. Note, George Washington Carver, an Asiatic peanut genius of Tuskegee Institute, Alabama, was one of the greatest scientists in the world. Memory or mind never forgets. Mind is the cause of all things, which therefore makes woman the law of cause and effect or evolution. She is responsible for the acts of her child. The more knowledge women possess of the Zodiac, the wiser the child to be born will be. Woman is the great creator of both good and evil. Unity. The law of harmony. The four trinities of creation. Fire, air, water, and earth are the four trinities of creation. Air and fire signs harmonize. Water and earth signs harmonize. Always find out person's birth sign in order to see if their sign is in harmony with your sign. You are advised to see what sign the moon is in when conception takes place. Then read the interpretation of the moon while it is in each sign until the child is born. The influence of the sun and moon in the 12 signs molds the general character of your child. Therefore, your knowledge of the influence of the sun and moon in the 12 signs of the Zodiac from conception to birth enables you to help your child mold greater character through your power of thought and concentration, often referred to as the power of mind over matter. Wisdom. Knowledge of the Zodiac involving woman or women, children, moon, sun, or earth might therefore be termed clock of destiny. The great span of one's active life lies between woman and earth, from birth to disintegration, referred to as death. All children come into the world by way of woman and pass out by way of the earth. Do you agree? The five sons of destiny. 1. Joseph Stalin. Conception occurred while the sun was in Aries, which resulted in the birth of Stalin when the sun entered Sagittarius with the moon in Aries, 1879. 2. Benito Mussolini. Conception occurred while the sun was in Sagittarius, which resulted in the birth of Mussolini when the sun entered Leo, with the moon in Gemini, 1883. 3. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Conception occurred while the sun was in Gemini, which resulted in the birth of Roosevelt when the sun entered Aquarius, with the moon in Cancer, 1882. 4. Emperor Hirohito. Conception occurred while the sun was in Virgo, which resulted in the birth of Hirohito when the sun entered Taurus, with the moon in Virgo, 1901. 5. Adolf Hitler. Conception occurred while the sun was in Virgo, which resulted in the birth of Hitler when the sun entered Taurus, with the moon in Capricorn, 1889. The women who created those five sons possessed scientific knowledge of the 12 signs of the Zodiac, which enabled them to educate their sons during their 9-month maturity by studying the science of astrology, thereby freeing the world of false doctrines, fear, and hypocrisy. The great cycle of nature was closed on all fictions, mythology, theology, and hypocrisy, commonly known as democracy, our way of life, in 1941. Mussolini, Hitler, and Hirohito were born into the world with the same assignment. That is the basic reason why they formed the axis triangle, the son of the Roman axe, the son of the German hatchet and iron cross, and the son of the sword. Hitler converted the Christian mystic iron cross into the mystic swastika and forced the Christian nations of the world to destroy their own economic and social foundations through fear and the lack of knowledge and understanding. Roosevelt and Stalin were endowed with the same assignment. Stalin re-educated the masses of Russia to the realization that the earth is a community, and that equal and practical education, production, and distribution, food, clothing, shelter, human equality, social freedom, marriage according to one's choice and desire, and recreation are the highest attainment of human existence. While the people of the United States of America concentrated upon race, color, class, creed, the myth of white and black people blood, and the fear of Russia redism, Roosevelt took advantage of their ignorance and put us all on an equal economic basis by issuing ration books, numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, during which period every person could practically tell what the other had to eat. You are advised to read the interpretation of the sun and moon in the book in the birth sign of each of the five sons, namely Joseph Stalin, Benito Mussolini, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Emperor Hirohito, and Adolf Hitler. You and I are also born into the world endowed with an assignment. I am on my duty now. What are you doing to make the world a better place in which you to live? Islam. Pardon the interjection, and I'm doing my part. Islam, Morris. Pardon the interjection, and we continue. One never knows by being told, so take time out, figure for yourself. Minutes, degrees, or meridians involving global geography, as shown in the 12 signs of the Zodiac, from Aries to Pisces, which describe the measurement of time. 1. The Earth axis to its orbit rotates at the rate of 1 degree every 4 minutes, which equals a geographical span of 60 miles. 60 minutes or 1 hour equals 15 degrees, a geographical span of 900 miles. 120 minutes or 2 hours equals 30 degrees of geographical span of 1800 miles. Each sign of the zodiac from Aries to Pisces constitutes 30 degrees each. The sun remains in each sign of the zodiac a duration of 2 hours. 12 hours a day equals 180 degrees, and 12 hours of night equals 180 degrees. Thus, a day and night equal 360 degrees. Time changes every 15 degrees during the 24 hours of the day and night. 24 times 15 equals 360. The number 60 is the key to geography. Therefore, you are advised to always multiply degrees or meridians of geography by the figure 60 for accuracy. Example, 15 degrees times 60 minutes equals 900 miles. The second motion of the earth in harmony with the sun, rising in the northern hemisphere and setting in the southern, which makes the months, the 4 seasons, and years during its annual revolution of 360 degrees. The vernal equinox, or the summer solstice, which March 21st and June 21st. 2. The Earth's axis to its orbit evolves about the sun at the rate of 1 degree per day. 30 degrees per month, 90 degrees in the course of 3 months, 120 degrees in the course of 4 months, 150 degrees in the course of 5 months, 180 degrees in the course of 6 months, which governs the spring and summer seasons on the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere. The signs Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo govern the northern hemisphere. The top of the world, called the crest of Asia, 180 degrees on the equator, referred to as Oriental or East in Islam, the order of the Asiatic nation. The fall equinox and the winter solstice, September 23rd and December 21st. The Earth's axis to its orbit in harmony with the sun crosses the equator in the 7th sign Libra, on the Tropic of Cancer in the southern hemisphere to complete the cycle of 360 degrees. The signs Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces govern the southern hemisphere, called the trough of Europa, or Occidental, the bottom of the world, referred to as West in Christianity, the order of the European nations. There are only 2 ends of 2 poles. Thus, the North Pole is east, which is always up during the Earth's annual revolution of 360 degrees, and the South Pole is always down during the Earth's annual revolution of 360 degrees, all of which equal a geographical span of 21,600 miles. 360 degrees multiplied by 60 equals 21,600 miles. 10,800 miles in the northern hemisphere, 180 degrees, and 10,800 miles in the southern hemisphere, 180 degrees. For accuracy, multiply the degrees by 60 degrees. Vernal equinox. On March 21st, the sun crosses the equator, partner interjection, and that's when New Year's really start, March 21st to 22nd, not January. Just want to put that out there. So, our people know. If you don't know, now you know. January 1st is not New Year's. Partner interjection. And we continue. On March 21st, the sun crosses the equator into the sign of Aries, on the Tropic of Cancer, in the northern hemisphere. At Sumatra, East India, on June 21st, the Earth's axis has its greatest inclination to the sun at right angle of 90 degrees. The first full moon after March 21st, the Christian nations celebrate Easter, referred to as the Great Passover. 11 days after June 21st, the sun is in the sign Cancer, which cumulates 101 degrees. Here the Christian order celebrates its Day of Independence, July 4th. On September 23rd, the sun crosses the equator into the seventh sign, Libra, on the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere at a point in Brazil, nearly due north of Orbidos, on the Amazon River. Thus, on September 25th, the founders of the Order of the Cross, or Christianity, celebrate their new year. They are called Jews, and it was they who controlled world commerce of the Roman order until 1941. The Christian celebrative dates was established by the Jews. On November 21st, the rays of the sun accumulated in the 8th sign Scorpio, 240 degrees of the Zodiac. Thus, on November 21st or 25th, the eagle, legionary caste, the head of the Christian order, celebrate Thanksgiving. The first Thanksgiving ever held occurred on November 26, 1795, after the decisive victory of the Battle of Lake Erie, from which resulted in the fall of the Moorish navy on the Great Lakes. On December 20th, the Earth's axis to its orbit in harmony with the Sun has declined 270 degrees of the Zodiac, which culminates in the 9th sign Sagittarius, the Sun which squares the surface of the Earth. The rays of the Sun enters the 10th sign Capricorn on December 21st at a point on the Tropic of Cancer, south of Windhoek, in southwest Africa. Thus, on December 25th, the various castes of the Roman order celebrate the birth of the mystical Christ and Santa Claus. On March 17th, the Earth's axis has evolved its 357 degrees in the 12th sign Pisces. Thus, on March 17th, the armed guards, which occurs 3 days or degrees before the sun crosses the equator into the sign of Aries on the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere. Thus, on March 30th, the Earth has completed its annual revolution of 360 degrees, which accumulates in the geographical region of the Indian Ocean and Java, East India. The celebrative dates of the Roman order was established by the Jewry, or Jews, for political and commercial purposes. None of the Roman cross castes can sell the Jews anything for their New Year celebration on September 26th, and neither on the Passover celebration and their Christmas. The era which resulted in the shift of time and geography. The measurement of time and geography was shifted from the United States to Greenwich, England in 1884. Standard time is measured from Denver, Colorado, United States. Alright, and then it just goes into the Tropic of Cancer, latitude, longitude. The cold mountain region. Cape Horn, Patagonia, lies on the circle of 55 degrees south latitude from the top of Greenland to the bottom of Patagonia, comprise 135 degrees, which covers a geographical span of 8,100 miles. Remember, always multiply degrees in geography and astrology by the figure 60, which is your master key of civilization. This concludes in brief the geographical locations of the lower half of the world, which is comprised of more water than land. On the contrary, the upper half of the world is comprised of more land than water. You now have first-hand scientific knowledge of the direct cause of human warfare, bloodshed, and destruction. The ancient Blue Nile and White Nile River. The Pacific Ocean is the ancient Blue Nile River, referred to as the Sea of the Rising Sun. Spring and summer temperatures. The Atlantic Ocean is the ancient White Nile River, referred to as the Sea of the Setting Sun. Fall and winter temperatures. The Gulf of Mexico is the fountain of air and water. current supply or circulation. Thus, the knowledge of the 12 signs of the zodiac is often referred to as the fountain of youth, because such knowledge prevents one from growing old in mind or enslaved to impractical traditions involving emotional religious fear and superstitions, referred to as a drunk off wine. Wine symbolizes false doctrine and water symbolizes humanity. Partner interjection. So that should tell you something right there, family. When you look into the Bible, when Jesus turned water into wine, when Jesus turned water into wine, and it says wine symbolizes false doctrine, and water symbolizes humanity. Just a little tidbit right there to make you go, think about it. Partner interjection, and we continue. The science of the 12 signs of the zodiac has proven that the sun shines equally upon the earth in the course of 123 months, which designates one world, one race. The human family is equally dependent upon the other for existence, progress, and the pursuit of happiness. Thus, the earth is a great community for the human family, from which is derived the term communist, the oldest phrase of creation. Let us commune together. The science of the 12 signs of the zodiac have also proven that the philosophy of Christ and the place called Palestine are together the greatest and most detrimental fallacies that the world has ever known. Egypt. The term Egypt implies productive soil in the northern hemisphere, especially United States of America and Canada, Upper and Lower Egypt. The white sons and daughters went to Egypt by the stroke of the pen. Islam. Pardon the interjection. Now you hear that? It says the term Egypt implies productive soil in the northern hemisphere, especially United States of America and Canada. So you're in Egypt. You're in Africa, if you will. Pardon the interjection. And we continue. The headdress of our Moorish forefathers. The red fez with the symbol of the star and crescent or moon. Without the symbol of the sword is the headdress of the Moors in this hemisphere. The Moorish fez represents the supreme height of wisdom and practical knowledge of the science of the 12 signs of the zodiac, the universal law and constitution upon which civilization is founded. Today, the red fez of the cultured Moors is worn by the white sons, wizards of the Order of Christ, namely the Protestants, Methodists, Baptists, and the Jewry, or Jewish, of the United States of America. The red fez worn by those sons have the sun, a star, and crescent, with the symbol of a sword worn by these sons have the star and crescent, with the symbol of a sword on top, which represents the subjugation of the Moorish woman. The Christian Bible is the book of the dead image worship. The term Mason implies master or messen, M-E-S-S-E-N, or messenger, which simply means one who possesses scientific knowledge of the works of nature as shown in the 12 signs of the zodiac. Such knowledge makes our conscious of the fact that his universal mind makes him free to propagate truth, contrary to secrets, falsehoods, and imperialism. And we're going to cut that back right there and come on to part 3 to finish this off. There's a couple more pages there, but we're going to stop here at the 12 signs of the zodiac, page 49. And we're going to come back and bring you that third part as a conclusion to the Clocks of Destiny 1, Volume 1 by good brother, great brother, CM Bay. Like I say, don't believe me. Go check it out for yourself, Moors, and you'll be amazed at the jewels you'll find on your treasure hunt. Islam, love, and peace forever, Moors.
Fully aware and awake to what's going on in the world. That's what conscious rap means. So if you got conscious rap, that means you got unconscious rap. That means you got motherfuckers that's unconscious rap. That means they sleeping. They still under the spell of light. They still under the spell of king.
Call me brother man, I'm not the rubber man. Though I keep my Nazis in affairs wrapped with some rubber bands. Burning out the Ku Klux Klan and Wizard Grand, Dairy Queen misters. Just butts of guns I'm giving. Trying to make more sovereign citizens, these minions. Help kill your prophet, stole your treasury millions. You heard it from your brother man, now the smother sellout. Sets links in K2 Kush days, keep me red out. I got the knowledge to make these silly hoes question the pimpin' directors of music videos. Gaylords and persons with strap-on boots with heels. Too much graphic art faces, boobs are not real. Since MCM and Troop, they use Timberland boots to get us all caught up in fashion, not the simple men roots. Got our people on dogmatic, not metaphysic. Exoteric, not esoteric is how you missed it. So out of it you couldn't feel the natural mystic blowing through the air like it didn't give a shit. I hear the dirty Moors dissing, cause I said profanities. A lot of these grand cheeks need to take off the panties. Pull the thong out your crack fez wearing bitch ass nigga. Return to where the prophet found you, negro ass nigga.
It's time to choose a side. You either positive or you negative. You either evil or you good. You understand what I'm saying? Choose a side, nigga. I know what side I'm on.
I throw a Molotov at the priest that works for the beast. All they want is our people to rest in peace. No attention of allowing more stress to ease. Cracker won't go home to spread himself the disease. Genocidal epidemic kill us in high proportions. Instead of mummified we stay boxed in coffins. Mayors attend funerals for PR purposes. Where's the police escort? He replied with nervousness. He said, I don't have those numbers or connections to have Metro Police lead your friend's funeral procession. That's coming from Mr. Mayor, black community player. No question in the hoods dropping off boxes of weapons. Then blame black on black crime or natural causes. Plus those doctors are not on point but off a bit. Natural mystics prove they're not holistic. Hypocrite oaths make your children autistic.
I'm at the point now, you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of mixing the medicine with the food. I'm tired of playing that game. Now I'm shoving straight medicine down you fucking broke, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Straight dose.